allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Vince Pagetto here.
Glad here.
Cindy Watson here.
Kathy Anderson, here.
Susan Atkinson.
Public comment. So,
Yes.
Tricia Zimmerman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to remind Patricia Zimmerman, I'm a member of BPAC. Just wanted to remind you that on January 13th, there's going to be a presentation put on by the Pelican Reserve Sport Shooting Committee. They do one a month on various topics. This one's on GFDD. And I've asked Mark to participate in that, and that he will go over 4 slides that'll cover the landscape committee. First slide is the mission and the purpose. Second one will be the picture I took of all you guys and the committee members. And the third one will be the highlights of 2025. Some of the highlights of the year, and then a look ahead, the 2026 plan, what will be some of the major events. So anybody have any input for me on Mark for the last 2 slides? That would be great. What do you think should be highlighted? I would like to hear your thoughts.
What time today?
It's going to be at, is it 10? 10 o'clock in the theater. Yeah.
So I know.
So, yeah, and it's before your next meeting, so I really want you all to participate, give me some ideas, give Mark ideas about what we need to talk about. Okay. You guys have any questions for me? Good.
One more public comment.
Yeah, hi, I'm John Sear from the Bellagio neighborhood. I wanted to ask this committee, or is there another subcommittee that's research investigating the invasive grasses permeating throughout Pelican Reserve? Are you aware of any other groups that are working with this Bellagio? I've been working with the last 6 or 7 months. So I would really like to share information for the rest of the community, the rest of the neighborhood. Not sure how to go about that. If anybody has a recommendation, I appreciate it.
Share about grasses? Is that what you said?
It was-
It's hard to hear. with the
Oh, I'm sorry,
voice.
invasive grasses.
Invasive.
There's 3 or 4 different types of grasses, I'll call them weeds, that are taking over all the Floritam, which is the grass we have here. And in Bellagio, that Floritam is now 25 years old. We're a 22-year-old community, and we just can't get rid of it. We tried various chemicals. So far, we're striking out. And I'm working with Florida University, a couple other communities trying to figure this out, but it's throughout Pelican Reserve. I think there's going to come a time that we as a community are going to have to figure out something to take care of all the 1,000 acres we have here. Because we do one community, and then I can blow in for the neighborhood next to you, and you've wasted all your time and effort. So it's really becoming a big job.
Could I ask Casey Anderson, could I ask you who your landscaper is?
Yes, right now we're using down to earth.
Okay. Because I'm out of Avila and we are, all of a sudden in the last 4 months, it's not just one invasive weed, it's more than that.
That's correct.
And it has, I heard sprinkler issues. I used to be president there for 9 years. I'm no longer, but it is really, really bad. It's just whatever's going on. And it seemed to happen at the turn of a new company. That's why I asked. I've heard irrigation isn't running properly. I've heard different things.
In
But-
my experience, like I've lived in Bellagio for 20 years now,
Uh-huh.
and it's only been the last couple of years these weeds have crept into this. It's something new, getting stronger. There's a lot of research going on. So that I might add that the current grass we have called Floritam, it's the old one from 25 years ago. Now I understand they've upgraded that. You might want to consider putting in new Floritam that can fight these things more so than but we're talking
You
about.
have the purple weed. It's a purple color.
Yeah.
Okay, have you had it tested for, remember the disease a few years ago
Yeah, sure.
that Javier spoke on?
Yep.
Because I don't think the village had it tested for that yet. But if you recall, we were told we can't put the same type of grass back once they're able to take care of it. And it takes a special type of killer.
You mean Javier is now working at Great View, that
Yes.
Javier? Okay. I actually met with him this week to talk about that. I asked him, I says, to maybe set a precedent. I'm willing, I live at 9924 Bellagio Court at the very end. And set a precedent, give me a proposal to take everything out of my yard, put the new floor down. I'm willing to pay for that, see if it works before we share it with the other neighbors in the rest of the community.
I'm going to meet with him this coming week, even though we're a condo, we're standalone homes. And I'm going to see what he says to me as a homeowner, because it's so, I'm surprised, the old golf, when we had different owners for the golf course, when those yards got that bad, and you can see it if you're on that hole behind my house, it's embarrassing. It's so bad, but it's invasive, and you're correct on that. I'm gonna see what Javier.
Yeah, and mention my name too, so he knows that we're all concerned about these things.
What was your name again?
John Cyril,
Oh,
C-I-R-A.
yeah. Okay,
Cindy Watterson. Great View is going to start doing our neighborhood for the Pina, which is right next to you.
Okay, yep.
And he's already walked our lawns, and we talked to him, Mark, probably speaking a little bit to that as well. Of the grass, that's the first problem we're going to tackle.
Cindy, as he said, has he said yet? Has Grandview said anything about your cars?
Yeah, that's the first problem we're going to tackle, depends on January first.
Because I haven't walked to your neighborhood in about a month. Last time I was there, I saw some, but it looked spotty, but I thought, oh, that's what's going on in the villa. There'll be,
And just, use plan,
Yeah,
just
I
to
agree.
get, to this, if you recall, we had asked all landscapers to basically sanitize their equipment before they came in. So now we're cross-breeding probably from
That's
other
correct.
developments. Unfortunately,
That's
there
correct.
are the Javier's of the world, new vendors. He's one, Karina got a new vendor. Who knows if they're on board with that? So
Yeah.
I think we, as a committee, need to start.
No, you're right, Bruce, because this, even if you clean up your neighborhood, it can be brought in from your shoes,
Yeah.
brought in from the rabbits that are running crazy around here, or the undercarriage of all the lawn equipment.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're drinking from the fire hose. It's a crazy, crazy situation.
There's so many different vendors, and they work on their own agenda. That's
And I respect them. If they said, Mr. Sarah, if every time we show up in your neighborhood once a week, you're gonna make us de-lysol our equipment, I'm gonna have to charge you for that. Time is money. We gotta get in and get out, get the other neighborhood. If you're gonna make us do it, we'll do it. You're gonna have to pay for that. One other thing I want to add when you do this stuff, remember the golf course doesn't have the same turf that we have in the neighborhoods. That's a completely different thing. I'm working with the property over there and the supervisor over there. And they tipped me off to who they use for some of their stuff. But because they're so intense, they literally walk around spraying on a daily basis. Whether it's Roundup or something else, but we can't compare notes with them because it's a whole different type of grass. So
I know Mark is on the line, so maybe Mark at his next president's meeting will bring it up to each HOA's president. That we, 3 years ago, tried to institute that sanitizing of equipment before you entered the gate. So maybe we should do a fresh. I know, but you gotta stop it at one point and start almost from scratch. We're gonna to get it off to the right start.
I will tell you this, the purple that I'm talking about takes a special weed killer, and you can see it cropping up in other neighborhoods in patches. But Javier told me at the time, I was still on board, that it took a special, more expensive type. If not, it would spread, and I've seen it spread.
that's correct. And what they use is something that the normal consumer can't get a hold of. We're not allowed to do that. I set up 3 test areas in Bellagio to test out a new Celsius WB herbicide and also something called blindside herbicide. And we've done that over the last 90 days, 2 applications. I met with the team yesterday, that nothing happened, did nothing. So it's so frustrating, so. Thank you for listening. Okay, great. I'd be happy to sit on the subcommittee and share information. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
So now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
Chairman, before we do that, since Mark Eversman's online, can I get a motion to allow him to participate and vote due to extraneous circumstances? All in favor?
Minutes, the meeting November 21st, 2025.
Approve the minutes as stated for November 2025.
What's the second?
I'll say aye.
Aye.
On to the financial report. It's Mark's.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay, it's a little choppy, the audio on this end. Basically, the main item is the first line. You'll see that our annual budget is 388,000, and yet we have 536,000 encumbered. That was because of the property along Tree Line going over to Gateway Services, and 200,000 out of our budget went with that approximately. For some reason, it did not come out of the encumbered area, but Laura Leroy has told me she has fixed that for next month. So that issue should go away. Otherwise, the annual tree trimming, we will use the majority of that between trimming the palms and the hardwoods. Everything else is looking fine at this point.
Question, Cindy Watterson, question. For any type of lighting needs, will that come out of the first line?
That would, no, the first line is strictly what's contracted with Ameriscape. If we do any lighting or something like that, that would have to come out of the second line of R&M other.
It's for electrical, not.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Items for discussion. Landscape subcommittee selection. Recommendation.
I make a motion that we elect Mark back as chair. Another year or 2 year term. Mark has shown his expertise that I don't believe any of us truly have, and we rely on Mark for that.
I second that.
I'll say aye.
I
He gets a raise.
Is he worth it?
0 plus 0.
You get a raise.
Oh boy, double my salary.
0 plus 0 equals 0.
Next one. And 1 month.
Cindy Watterson was also on there.
Yes, I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is the
You have to make a motion.
make a motion.
I make a motion for Cindy to go for another 2 years, I think, for her expertise and the cost savings on the Christmas lighting stood out in my mind, so therefore I recommend another 2 years for Cindy.
I second that, Casey and Casey.
I'll say aye.
Aye. 0 plus 0.
So the next thing we've got something brought in by Courtney landscaping improvement request.
I looked at that, request and we don't have a plan in place. We haven't been presented with a plan. Based on the wording of the proposal, they're asking, one thing that stood out in my mind was sod replacement. I made a visit to the, cul-de-sac roundabout yesterday. The big concern is there is a hydrant spill out right there. And if we replace the sod there, it would just happen again. It's one of those weekly, I believe. I know near me, they do it weekly. I think it would just be a waste of money. So until we see the final plan, maybe use rock instead of the sod in that particular location. There is another dead spot, which I totally agree should have new sodding. And once we get a selection of plants, they made no mention of a vendor. We have to make sure the vendor is Gateway certified. So at this point, I think we should delay that until we see a plan for at least the next meeting. And since there's no representative for the female here, we really can't discuss it further.
Cindy Watterson, what do you think of? Anytime we approve cul-de-sac or a monument, we don't approve the plans. We approve the money. And then they take care of the plans. Any neighborhood has done that. We don't say, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's just, are you on the list? Have you had it in the past 3 years? And if not, then we say, okay, you can have it, and then you don't get the money again for 3 years. Suggestions are definitely taken, looking at it, but we don't have to delay approving it because of that, because we don't have the right to tell them what to do. Even though it's a street, if it was just the street, it would be the same.
That understood. That I can appreciate. Yes, we have acted that way. But here again, just being budget conscious, I think their plan has to be upgraded. So we give them that money because I think it's good money put on bad. In the case of that spill out, I agree, there's dead grass there. There should be some replacement, not in the areas that we're going for necessarily.
Is that not any different because there's other ones from the community that are in those cul-de-sac things that the sod's been replaced. I got them most of them.
I don't recall those.
I'll have to look again. I got
Mark, do you have anything to say?
I couldn't follow a lot of what was being said, but basically on these applications, we have never required that they tell us who their contractor is going to be or have a plan in place before we approve the funds. They must use a Gateway certified contractor, otherwise they won't get paid, and they are aware of that. And they do send the plan to me and I review it to make sure there's no plants that should not be planted in that area. Other than that, we have not dictated a design or anything else. We've left it up to them as long as it's a reasonable design. Where they are missing sod at this point, a ground cover had been used several years ago that eventually died out. So they don't want to go back with the ground cover and they just want to use sod instead.
So with that being said, I'll reverse my part of the discussion. The only thing is, can we make sure sod is not being placed near that hydrant spill out? Because I think it's just a waste of money because it's dead from that spill out. So we just have a reoccurring dead sod area. So if you could keep in mind that maybe they could replace it with something more suitable, like rock, to save us that expense of just replacing it a few years down the road. I have no problem with that.
problem with rock though. It spills over. You get in there edging and somebody's walking by their contract. I mean, it's just sometimes an accident waiting to happen. I don't have an answer. Go back to what they're saying. We approve the
Approve
amount,
the money
right?
and make it every 17 years, but to ask again. So
So the next question is, at the foot of Portofino where the monument sits, when was the last time they were given money?
that's
You may have to speak a lot
Oh.
louder. Sorry.
The cul-de-sac in question was given money approximately 7 years ago.
What about the monument at the foot? At the entrance of Portofino?
That monument was done last year. But each area is eligible for its own request.
So with that in mind, with going back to last month's meeting, and if you recall, Prado asked for 3 separate monuments. So are we allowing each HOA to just cover each monument regardless of when the last one was given?
The monuments that they are requesting can't have been done or funded by us in the last 3 years.
Or have not? Have not?
Have not.
Okay, so let's hold on.
So I make a motion to approve, Portofino's request.
I second that.
Nate,
Aye.
Nate,
Oh, Casey Anderson.
Yes, thank you.
say aye.
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 I,
Approved. Okay, item C, Pelican Reserve Boulevard landscape upgrades.
I can talk about that. Mark and I. Hope that Mark and I drove, my drone, which is marked there on that map. And noted a number of areas that needed pushes in place or, improvements where areas that just weren't very attractive. There was at least 1 or 2 big trees that had been taken out but not replaced. So the proposal is for each of those areas, and the action items are contained in the second sheet. Now, Mark, did you submit the bid? Within the attachment? We do the action items for each of those market areas. You can see that there's quite a variety, and there's one, there are 2 areas where we're taking out bushes. One that, in area number 12 on the map, which is just beyond the gatehouse. Those bushes have a fungus that needs to be removed. And I have not had time to plan that bed, and I'm still learning about Florida gardening and species of plants, and so Marcus giving me a little more time with that, and so that needs attention after others. Those others are all city water, so number 12 is that, right? Anything else? Well, there's the gatehouse, and then there's like a gap, and there's some gas through. It's just the there, yeah.
yeah, we put bushes in there last year.
Yeah, and they're not doing, and the whole bed, right, so just needed to be replaced. So, you know, I'm looking at that, but everything else that needs attention is addressed in this.
So it's all premature.
That's for us to improve it.
Yeah. Mark, do you have the bid from, various attached to the minutes?
Oh, okay.
It should be attached to the minutes. There's the proposal for the, what's the total, is it 3,600?
Yeah, thanks.
Like, it's 36,000.
No. Yeah. Honestly, I thought that was very reasonable, given the amount of work that we were asking them to do. I thought that was very reasonable.
An awful lot of plans for that.
Yeah.
Let's quickly make a motion to approve.
City Waterston motion to approve 3648.
There may have been more than one bid, but we're gonna take the lower one.
So it's Marisky versus Drayton.
Exactly.
That's the Mary's State for lower.
Yeah, no,
Right, they're that way.
Wow.
okay. City Waterston to make a motion to update Arlington Boulevard from the gatehouse to Bellagio. It's noted on here for the amount of $3,648.
I just.
Vince, would you have a second to the motion? All say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. On to number 8, staff update. Landscape Subcommittee staff update.
No, good afternoon. It's Paul Flores for the record, Public Works Director for Gateway Services. Just wanted to share just a few updates to the subcommittee. The first one is the gatehouse arm operators, which is unrelated to the landscape subcommittee, but it's something community-wide. So just want to bring to everyone's attention regarding some of the issues that we've had with the newly installed gate arms operators that were installed. We've had at least 3 residents that have or 3 incidents that they're striking the arm as they're entering on the resident side, the resident's entrance, while tailgating the car before in front of them, which is causing the arm to come down and is striking the vehicle. So just want to just spread the message to kind of slow down, take your time, allow the arm to come down if someone's in front of you, to allow it to cycle through properly. So that's the first thing.
Paul,
Yes.
are we assessing the residents for the damage that they're causing to the gate?
That's a great question. That's something that I'm bringing up to the next meeting, the safety and security. So far, I have not received any invoices for the damages because we are waiting on parts, but that's something I'm bringing up. And safety.
Yep.
Right.
I know at one time it was stated that within Pelican, if you damage the gate, you're paying for it.
Yeah,
Right,
they did that
right.
way, they put cameras in years back so they could track that.
Right. And
Is that being communicated to residents, Mark, and maybe the Pelican group on Facebook and Circle? Because this is the first I've heard of it's a gate, and that's terrible.
It's been in the master, board minutes before. What happened several years back, they actually destroyed the entire unit before. Corrected, I think they got confused, backed up, it's been very costly for us in the past.
But I think that a lot of people pay attention to the Facebook group and also Circle. They do, and you can pull at that precise issue without people having to dig for minutes to read through because they don't know it official.
Yeah.
right. So that's something we'll talk about, maybe putting out some communication. We're very fortunate is that the new arm operators have a detachable arm. So they do get hit, it falls off real easily without damaging the actual mechanism. So that is a benefit with the new system. But yes, that's the other thing. The guard, the officer that's working that shift will do an incident report documenting who struck the arm, caused any damages. And so we do get the information for the person that caused the accident. That's working very well with Wiser. Any other questions on this? I am addressing this in the next meeting with safety security at 11 o'clock today. And that's, well, I'll get further direction and clarification And hopefully we could also put out something to the community as well, some sort of communication. Okay. The next item is just a little incident that we had recently with the FPNL Streetlight project. I just kind of want to share with the landscape subcommittee because this had to do with the irrigation system. So the boring company that was installing the conduit for the new streetlights was moving their machine. And unfortunately, as they're moving it, they kind of brushed, well, there was some landscaping that was nearby, and unbeknownst to them, there's a stub out that came out of the ground, a 2-inch stub out, but it was connected to a 12-inch irrigation line. So no one knew that it was there. It was an accident. I did include a photo here. So if you see, this is a 12-inch line, and what you see is a 2-inch little PVC connection, and it just would elbow up, and it was in these bushes here, and it was capped. So it was a stub out, nothing major, but it just kind of wanted to share. I also did put a pin on this for the record, so just to let everybody know in the future that 12-inch line is there. I don't think anyone knew in the community. When we talked to Fabian and his group, they were unaware of that. And I do believe that was for some future use, but I don't know if there's anything in the future that would pertain to this.
This is there, and according to the construction plans, that whole stub out was for 6 meters.
Oh,
Was not even supposed to be constructed. But it was, so.
I watched on it.
Everything around you, you can't even trust.
I was there when they did, I watched the boring machine. They did so good until that point.
right. It was a minor incident. I mean, like I said, I don't think it wasn't while they were boring. It was just when they were moving that machine, they just tapped that stub out, and yes, and so that's why.
Location where supposed to be the main injection point for irrigation system. But then they changed for the pump house, so that wasn't even supposed to be 12.
Right. So it's just for information purposes there. Yes, sir. That's something we'll have to address. We'll have to pressure wash and clean up all of the locate markings after the project is done. Right.
Sidewalks.
That would be Gateway Services' responsibility to clean that up and get it back to status quo. Not the vendor, no. That would be a part of the project. Okay, then the next item, I just kind of want to get a sense of feeling and also some direction. I know that the community is going to start the process of hardwood trimming of the trees. And I know with the new poles that are being installed, it is the height of the poles themselves are a little higher. If as they're trimming the trees and and there's not that many trees that other than I would believe Pelican Preserve Boulevard, if they could just trim those areas for the new light poles to be included, just to bring that to Fabian's and his team's attention, since Ameriscape was awarded that bid. They were going to do it regardless because of the old light poles, maybe just focus on the new placements and the new poles being installed.
Hey, Paul,
Yes, sir.
I spoke to Fabian at Ameriscape about this, and he was going to meet with someone on the project 2 weeks ago, I think, to discuss the placement of the new poles, and they were going to trim those out.
Perfect.
So hopefully that meeting has already occurred.
Perfect. I just wanted, I didn't want to assume on my part, if that was already taking place or in the process. I'll follow up to make sure of that. But I just kind of wanted to bring it to the committee's attention. Any other questions on the hardwood trimming and the light poles? The next item is the arch bridge, the landscaping around the arch bridge. We're safety and security. It's in the process of trying to get a contractor to repaint and do some minor repair to the arch bridge at the end of Pelican Preserve Boulevard. When I met with the contractor, there are some challenges with the landscaping around the bridge. There's just not enough room for them to work. So I'm kind of requesting that if you see, you know, these hedges are over the wall here, we need at least 3 feet of clearance all around the bridge so that as they're pressure washing, painting and making repairs, that there's no obstruction. And some of this is, to me, is a little overgrown as well. So it's probably. Okay.
Okay, this is Mark. If you could go ahead and put in a ticket with Ameriscape and ask for a proposal on that.
With my new planting coming up to the bridge and beyond the bridge. Can you hear?
Mark, did you hear Cindy, Mark?
No,
We're going to be doing that removal in that area that we talked about. Do you want them to trim it and then me go ahead with the removal?
She asked if she should proceed with.
yeah, I would just go ahead. Well, most of this is not getting removed. It was just a smaller area, wasn't it, Cindy? At this point, just put in a ticket and have it trimmed back to what we need with the 3-foot clearance. And we'll handle a new planting as a separate entity.
Yep. So Cindy will follow up on that, Mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Last one, James Blow. Wilcox, I believe, last name.
Wilkins, James Wilkins, yes.
Pretty. They Formosa is out there, because at that time, Bob Gephardt is relying on them to get some feedback. Happy to see that. So her definition to James, and I quote, neighborhood association, this is according to, amendments. Neighborhood association shall maintain any landscaping located within the common property. Defines common property to include all portions of the service water management system, including dedicated lake tracks like lake maintenance or drainage easements or corresponding infrastructure or utility easements or tracks. So I think that pretty much sums it up, that HOA is responsible for that 3-foot clearance that was brought up. So I think James is satisfied with that answer. I discussed it with him. I said, I think it's black and white. It's your responsibility. Unfortunately, what Bob said to us, remember, responsibility doesn't always rely on ownership, but this kind of clarifies it, that it is certainly the HOA's responsibility to take care of that pump station in question and the controllers for the irrigation.
Very good.
We were looking into that, that same language is in the 1, the 2, and it's in almost all of the PPCA owned parcels within the neighborhoods are actually platted with drainage easements, but you need a drainage easement to get access to the lake to do maintenance and stuff. So it's really everything, all open space within the neighborhood is the neighborhood's responsibility of building that, the whole reading of the declaration.
Yeah, and I think Faith's response to Faith satisfied his concern, so I think that's not an issue. I thought. Plus, I was getting tired of getting out there to satisfy him with my machete to clean up a little.
And there's been a lot of confusion because a lot of those were still under WCI ownership until Lisa Hay and their state was just taking care of all their property and then as things have changed. People have changed landscape, it's become a, who's responsible for what question that was never ever addressed.
Very good. The next item, it has to do with the Pelican Preserve monuments on Colonial Tree Line. Cindy and myself been very involved with the lighting at both from the standpoint of the marquee lighting that typically illuminates or highlights the monument, and also the holiday lights that are on the trees. Since the last meeting, we've issued a no trespassing order on the two properties. And because we are having the homelessness individuals that are tampering and kind of residing in that area, we also did post the no trespassing sign for the City of Fort Myers Police Department. That's required a part of that no trespassing order. But we are continually having to deal with tampering of the lighting. And I think Cindy and we've corresponded and been in communication regarding the frustration that we've had to try to keep those lights, on at night. So obviously they're using the electric power for other purposes, but fortunately they're not plugging back the electric. So we've called the police a few times. We've also have asked the Lee County Sheriff Office to monitor that area as well.
As if they move to Silver and Ivy's like that,
It's not,
fair enough. So it's still on elevated.
they travel. It's a very company. And some of us was assigned to this area. It's not been rented to the area as of Thursday night. They use briefing guys to. So they're trespassing to actually follow them, pick them up and.
Yeah.
That was. Are there any? Options for the whole.
I was waiting to see those, it's gotta be a month ago, outreach. From the Fort Myers PD showed up. They were there to help them. They removed all their personal belongings. And they offered them options. Obviously, we didn't have that.
Again, there's a lot of programs. The county provides housing and transitioning them back to kind of a stable, normal life. So there are programs out there, and the police department are very well versed, and they try to kind of guide them to their process. But I did also hear that they had breached the wall behind the plaza, and they were kind of getting close to the Aviano roundabout at the end of Aviano. So it's a yes.
Part of our possibilities. Lighting. So next year. This has been such a major problem. I believe that money will be that one. It's just not being almost how much I'm going every other night on those. I've been in contact with these tenant clubs. In 3 weeks, trying to get us our lights. So I think next year, part of my design that I'll submit will be to bring that one in. No, there's no.
But it seems like it's too.
It's not like. I would say. You are more than welcome. I didn't take it on. Trust me. Trust me.
Photographs, trust me.
They couldn't until we just found that out.
Yeah,
When I called them the other day, they were physically there. By the time the police showed up, they were gone. So you can't arrest them, they're not there. This has been ongoing for, until we just got the December 3rd, I think we got the trespassing. In November, it's the same thing. Well, we can't arrest them for being there. They're not living there. They were living there. It's not as easy as you may think.
Yeah, it's just, I'm
It
not
doesn't
diminishing
matter.
all of your efforts. I know they've been great. It just seems
It
such
makes
a
me crazy.
remarkable effort to have to undertake.
Oh, it's for Christmas lights.
Yeah.
I just said, yeah, he was just, they were on a waste their resource. Because if you don't want the help, you're not gonna take. I've seen that firsthand, so.
They cycle. They may leave and come back around. So,
And also the fact is, like guarantee you'll appear in court, the doubt will be jail time, then they'll be on their merry way. So it's just a vicious cycle, and it's,
I'm
there's
just
no
surprised they
quick
would
fix.
keep coming back, to the same community.
they got water and electric.
right. There's water and electric there. We did think about securing the electrical equipment there, but that would be an added expense, and the properties for sale is that, right, exactly. So that's, so just kind of want to just share that with, the subcommittee, that the challenges with the lights. So the next update has to do with Mark's questions, question last month, landscaping subcommittee regarding the 10% additional charge that Ameriscape was looking to do in regard to adjusting the irrigation system for new planting. So per the contract, there's nothing there that allows them to do that, for the basis of, adjusting the irrigation system for new plantings. That being said, the only condition I would think that'd be something viable is if you change the planting to where it requires a different irrigation, sprinkler head or a bubbler or something that would be different than what's currently in place. So if it's like for like, there would be no room for them to add the 10%. But if it's something that you're changing from, an annual to a hedge or something else that requires a different, form of irrigating, I would think at that point in time, but that's something that they would have to bring to your attention.
Paul, what they're doing on this is that any new planting, they're saying they have to adjust the schedule.
No,
And that's,
yeah, based upon that, Mark, no, they should not be charging, the 10% for that. And I did have a conversation with, Fabian and advised them that they should not be including any sort of additional costs just for, changing of the schedule and the timing.
what was his reaction?
And he understood. Yeah, the
Okay.
only thing, the only point he brought out was if it was a change of the plant type. If it wasn't a like for like, and I said, okay, then that's something that you'd have to bring up and get approval, but, outside of that, it cannot be just a standard 10% for, like for like plantings and, changing for the timing, of the irrigation system.
Okay.
Okay. The last item I think we kind of touched upon a little earlier is the, landscape monument and cul-de-sac upgrades requests. Just want to verify, because being new to the district, is the tracking of all of these requests that are being submitted by the HOAs. You know, I know there's an Excel spreadsheet out in our SharePoint at the district. I just want to make sure who's maintaining that, is that being properly maintained, so that we don't, you know, approve something that is it's already been approved, you know, within the 3-year time span per policy. Okay. And so, Mark, you're tracking that. Are you doing it through the district's SharePoint web spreadsheet, or is that something you're doing separately?
I did update the spreadsheet about probably 8 months ago. And I was thinking that was something that Casey had volunteered to do. Am I wrong on that, Casey?
I had, but then, I had a email or a note months ago from Bob, who was given, I thought, to someone else. And I thought that it was you handling it. Because he basically, I don't have to, but, I mean, it's been several months ago. Like, quite a few months ago.
All right. If, Paul, if you can have someone send me the link, I'll go ahead and update it further.
We can discuss it at the next meeting, but, I mean, I have no problem. It was just that I was under the distinct impression that it was transferred to someone else.
Okay, I will send you the link, Mark.
Okay.
And so the second subset to that topic is the policy that was established by the landscape subcommittee was that the HOA was to do the improvement and then seek reimbursement. Is that still the case? And is that policy needs to be updated?
Well, the way that we do it, and to my knowledge, it's the way it was intended. This was all set up by Nancy Smith. And they are supposed to come and request funding, and we will either deny or approve the funding. And then at that point, they can do the improvements and will receive compensation as long as they use a gateway approved vendor up to the amount they request with a $2,500 cap. So normally they would get approval before they would start their improvement,
Okay.
if they want to make sure they're going to get their money.
Okay. All right. If the subcommittee would allow me just to review that policy one more time and maybe bring that back up next month for further direction and guidance. Just to make sure that the process that we're following is in sync with the policy itself.
Okay.
Okay. And those are all of my items, all my staff updates.
This is Mark. If I could just give a brief update. The mulch is being done, and we had parked the trailer on the second entrance into Tiberio, where there are no residents located. The communities of Tiberio, Camarel, and Milano have taken great exception to that and have said it's an eyesore, and have threatened to call police and all kinds of stuff. So the trailer should be moved today, and it is now going to be parked on Cypress Grove for approximately a week while the mulching is finished up.
Has it been moved? No, it has not been moved as of this morning, what Bruce has mentioned.
The semi is supposed to be coming today with the last load.
Okay,
I out.
Right. Item G, Pellet Reserve Roundabout Electrical Outlet Installation.
Person. Talk about with them, right now, this is like, we're using solar on, and it's just embarrassing, it really is. So I wanted to get a better feel of how close the electric was to the monuments and what the cost would be. I'm sorry, the cul-de-sacs, to make an improvement for next year. So as we walked, the Plaza one, existing panel is very close. It has open boxes in it, and the price for that is $49.50, $4,950. Because the location is boring, they go under the road, it's not that far from the box to them. Each roundabout would have 2 circuits, so it could be used for other items during the year. If the electric is paid by each HOA, if they permit to install uplighting for their palm trees or whatever they want to do, they would have the ability to use it all year round. Now, when we go to Cypress, the Cypress it's really a mess when it comes out because you have Karina, Sella, and Matarita. Matarita is monument, doesn't even contain electric or water. So that uniformity bothers me to be, because it should be, every monument should be the same, lit up with the present. The box to this is down the road a bit, but we can come off of Casella's lights or under the road, put this in and also go over and fix batteries like so all those monuments would match. We have electric in the morning, right there. They'll go down the street into the green. Then the Prado, it's the more involved one because when you come into the roundabout, it's down to the left. And as he noted, you have to go 150 feet to this box. All the boxes have openings. I talked to Ed about it, so to make sure what my next steps were to get approval. They're existing, so we need no permits. Just costly, we don't need no file parking. All we need to do is put into the existing boxes. So this would be the first of a few upgrades I'd like to see done to enhance the community picture. Right. So the whole project is $17,450 for all 3. And I'm just seeking approval for that.
I think one box now is over $9,000. I think we can put out on somebody's.
So I did give prices for the boxes.
No, but I'm saying that first is what.
Oh, it'd be a lot more expensive if we had that boxes. So here, did you get, I don't know who else to call besides Bentley. Bentley's always done their work here.
This kind of a contract with the building.
Yeah,
right,
okay, so this is the approved, yes.
that is correct.
He came in last year and our in-house for the lighting. I think we did 70 boxes in there. It was all done. And, so, we're just slowly doing upgrades for the future to try to make it a little better. Right? And I did like that we're lighting these roundabouts because we're actually saying, hey, we realize you're here. It's not like you come in, it's beautiful, and then these communities in the back are like, and Lazo said, it's so nice, even though we can barely see them lights, because we're recognizing it. They feel the body. And I feel that we should.
John feels without it. I'm on board. If we go that far, I think for like, having like lighting on the trees.
That would kind of fall under the HOA.
You will have, this is, you will have some, because I didn't really know the item in the roundabout with the new lighting.
Street lights.
Plaza is going to have two good lights. The other roundabouts will have, each one will have four lighting. So there will be a lot more lighting, but decorative lighting, whatever. Christmas lights or something.
Even on the states, they light up their crowd.
Because they have election.
It's right.
And they did it, like on the bridge, yeah, they paid.
No, nothing, it's all the same.
Oh.
And so it's all once a year.
Some cul-de-sacs have them, some do not.
I'm Clara.
Same with the money.
Can I ask, does each neighborhood have to submit a request to have that electrical done? Someone mentioned to me they were doing all the cul-de-sacs, but I don't think that's the case, correct? You got to submit a request.
I would think that we would follow the same kind of setup as we do for the monuments. Because we don't have the money in the budget to do everyone this year, but the goal would be to slowly get everyone done. I'm bringing them up to speed because.
We talk about it.
No, he's talking about lighting the cul-de-sac in Rajia.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about putting lighting in
That's
between cul-de-sacs.
cul-de-sacs we do.
Because that would be their cul-de-sac, that would their HOA.
Yeah, we have two, one at Boswell Court, one at Boswell Drive, and then we were discussing if we could only get electrical power there. That would help us a lot with lighting and whatnot. So someone had mentioned, oh, that's gonna be done. I said, I don't think so. I think you gotta submit a request.
No, this is
Talking about is for that.
gateway,
State.
the gateway assets.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any questions? Sitting. Roundabout, put up the cell, it's not a bill, so it could be, what's your back?
Yes, okay, so,
Yes.
yes, so,
And money.
I'm not talking about the roundabout, I know the cell. Talking about
Cypress,
Cypress, right? Yeah.
where all those things. Correct, correct. And that's what the lines have to get, they want out.
You're gonna light up the on 4 lanes of that line. It's gonna have to you. It's not right next to the roundabout.
Then it's like it's not Yes, yes, it does, because to some, like, you know, exactly, so
Like those
are included in this code as well, and then the Prado roundabout.
Sure. The proposal sounds great. It's a lot of money. We have the money, Mark.
I can't understand about half of what is being said.
Yeah.
I can give a brief synopsis of what I understand about this. For Cindy's proposal with the 3 major roundabouts, we have the ability to do that. We have money in our budget. It's going to start draining us down to get a little bit closer. I won't deny that. The cul-de-sacs, I spoke to Ed Hedges about the cul-de-sacs within the HOAs. And it was Ed's impression that if a cul-de-sac, and some of these have done it, want electric in their cul-de-sacs, they will run it and they must pay for the monthly electric meter then. We do not have the money in our budget to start running to 30, 40 cul-de-sacs throughout the community. So according to Ed, we would not pay for that, and that would be on the individual HOAs if they want their cul-de-sacs done. Does that answer what was asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we're like, I think I remember when you brought up it, going down back toward Prado, where it sits down there, kind of the main part, the roundabout thing. To me, it's part of the road, main road. So I think what they're talking, Mark, is different than the cul-de-sacs, like inside the village, there's 3 cul-de-sacs. Oh, okay.
In City Hall, what we were really trying to make sure was that the power was coming from an existing monument meter that was surveying the existing monuments and that, so that we didn't get into having to have a new service run from FPL, who's gonna be in charge of all you're paying for is once the installation is done, there's a little electric, additional electricity on the electric bills.
Well, we had to put a box in, I'm tell you, it was going, and it cost a lot. Because at the time, they weren't adding the street lights in, you know, inside the area. And it was just dark. It wasn't in a cul-de-sac, it was on, you know, side of the street, but, that was after some break-ins up here by Aviato Fertitta. So, you know, residents were alarmed. But that cost us just for a box set, over $6,000, just having the box, because there was no box closer. So that's why I said it's a lot cheaper when Cindy, the bid she had, where you can have,
You have to go into the building.
right?
Yeah. So how do you want me to board with this? I'm on board to make a motion.
If I could just get some clarification. So I know it was mentioned earlier, so the R&M other landscaping, that's the line item that this will be charged to, if it gets approved. Okay, thank you.
Comments, Mark?
No, like I said, I'm only getting about a fifth of what's being said.
Yeah.
At this point, we are looking at only approving what Cindy is talking about with her proposal, correct?
Yes.
That is correct. Yes, Mark.
17,400.
Okay. Those three areas are considered to be roundabouts and not cul-de-sacs, is one of the primary differences.
My motion to approve Cindy's proposal for $17,450 to add power to the three roundabouts.
Second, that's.
I'll say aye.
I,
Aye. Okay, before we move on to the final thing, I have, I make a motion. When you pull into Philip Reserve, we've done copper plants on one hand side behind the wall. Got a couple estimates, and the low estimate to add copper plants to the other side of the back of the short wall. It's from Great View, 2,860. It's just, I'd like to approve a motion just to match the one side with the other side. It's not a big project.
City water set, is that the probably and the marinade?
Yes, yeah, total, like, that'd be a clone of the other side.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve the 2,860.
Can I ask something before we do this? Cindy Watterson, I think it was, brought up the fact that on the other side, we left the ligustrum small trees in
Yeah.
where we already did it. I did not believe that there was room to do it on the side that we're discussing now, leaving those there. If there is, that would lower the cost and make it more of a mirror image.
I went and took a look at it, and if we just took every other one out, I think it would be okay instead of taking them all out. So it'd be half.
No, no.
Did you, go ahead, Mark.
If you're looking to change that difference, then we need to update our quote from Great View. Obviously, it will go down. So I would think today we could make a motion if we wish to proceed forward to not to exceed the existing quote, knowing that it's going to go down if we take out fewer ligustrum.
Make a motion. Make a motion to not to exceed 2,860, which definitely will come in lower. And we'll leave every other Augusta in and replant the variegated with the great copper plant.
You water some seconds, motion?
I'll say aye.
Aye.
Motion.
Mark, do you have a copy of the zones? I reached out to Georgia. I can't locate my copy.
I do
And
not.
I have a copy.
You have a copy? Can you, send it?
Here, no, that's.
Oh, okay. It's Irish, IRIS.
Any other member items?
And
This is, I don't know if you guys were aware, but at the last PPAC meeting, we basically approved hiring a landscape architect to provide a concept for a refresh at the main entrance of Politan and Tree Lot. We don't know what that'll include, but it might be another monument on the north side or whatever, but looking at how to refresh, upgrade, that's what it kind of all has.
When does he come on board? Next year.
Sometime after the first of the year.
yes,
And some of that is what happens maybe contingent on the sale of the monuments at Tree Line.
This is just step one.
Step one.
Is that, step one, we're gonna open it up to items from other people, would it be just get something on the table?
Any other member items?
one question. Mark, can you hear me? It's kind of, directed at you. I noticed some of the calusas weren't trimmed along Prado, so I put a ticket in with, Fabian. And Fabian told me that they would not be done until February, when all the other common roadways had already been done. Is that with your understanding?
I was not, nobody talked to me about that.
Yeah, because I noticed the other bushes, the calusas along those roadways were done. So it surprised me when I saw the ones on Prado, not, that was his answer, so. Should I go back at him, do you think, or let it be until February?
I don't know how bad they are.
They're
guess-
not decided yet.
I would question why they're waiting till February.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Other with member items? And one of the final thing is that set up the next meeting in Jetwood. Scheduled meeting is January 22nd, 9 AM. Back to the original road. We're all good. We'll have that. Finally, let's adjourn the meeting.
So do ours a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's